is the key to all of this giving stuff. You see, my brothers and sisters, one thing we must understand is that God, heaven is big enough to haul its own freight. You see, my brothers and sisters, the key to this verse is in verse 5. The key to this verse is in verse 5. What does it say? And this they did, not as we hope, but first gave their own self to the Lord, and unto us they by the will of God. You see, my brothers and sisters, you see, my brothers and sisters, you see, tithing or paying what you call tithing won't take you to heaven. What Paul was dealing with here with the Corinthians is that, my brothers and sisters, what they did before they did anything else, they gave themselves to God. You see, my brothers and sisters, money won't take you anywhere. I mean, money ain't going to take you but from here to where you're at, because it won't take you into heaven. You see, my brothers and sisters, you got these heavy hitters who want to come sometime to give the money so the name could be called. You see, my brothers and sisters, this is not what God intended the giving of money ought to be. What Paul said here to the Corinthians, dealing in verse 5, it says, and this they did, not as we hoped, but first gave their own self to the Lord. You see, my brothers and sisters, if you're not giving yourself, or you didn't give yourself to the Lord, and giving some money is only a waste of time. I don't care what anybody say. You see, my brothers and sisters, that's one of the reasons why, my brothers and sisters, I'm not big into the 10%. I'm not big into all of that. What I'm big into is that you're saved, that you come to know Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is if you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. It does not matter how much you give. It don't matter how much you didn't give. It doesn't matter. All that matters is what the personal relationship that you have with Jesus Christ. And it says again, and this they did, not as we hoped, but first gave their own self. My brothers and sisters, before you worry about giving, before you worry about getting your name called because you're a big 10%er or you're a big 5%er, make sure that you gave yourself to God. And it says, as this they did, not as we hope, but first gave their own self to the Lord. And not only us, but by the will of God. In verse 6 says, in so much that we desired Titus that we had begun, so we would also finish in you the same grace also. Therefore, as ye abound in everything, in faith and in utterance, and in knowledge and in all diligence, and in your love to see that ye abound in the grace also. You see, my brothers and sisters, unlike what we see in the New Testament church, where it's important for you to be, we stress a lot about 10%, which is the Old Testament principle. We stress very little in terms of the giver being saved. We stress very little of the giver being called or being touched by God. We stress very little in that the giver have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Unlike those guys, Paul says, therefore, as we abound in everything,